top 10 anime of the decade.
Top 10 anime of the 1980s. It's coming right to you guys. We're all good. 1980s. We got this. I know it's a little out of date.
My shortwave AM broadcast from 1989.
It's been bouncing around the upper atmosphere for 20 years.
I knew you were going to say top 10 anime of the decade, because I've literally very deliberately wrote the text out as top 10 anime of the 2010s, because I put decade and I changed it because I was like, we're going to say 2010s.
Because people might think it was another decade, such as 1989.
Because the internet lives forever, and they'll always know it was us.
Yeah, what if it's 2037, and then people will be
but
like...
what if it was... What if we're doing the 12 Days of Christmas in 2029, assuming we're all still alive by then?
That's a big ass.
Well, fair enough. I should have not been so ignorant, I suppose.
You ignorant mofo. But no one's ignorant. Yeah. Do you know what? We're not ignorant of the fact that it's day 4 of the 12 Days of Christmas. Woo!
Oh,
yeah. And as you can see... Go on, sorry.
What?
I'm just
saying, no,
not as you
I'm
guys
done. I'm
can
toast
see,
now.
because you guys can't see, but the viewers and listeners, well, I suppose people who are listening to the podcast version can't see. But if you're on YouTube and you are looking right now, you can see that it says top 10 anime of the 2010s. And what we're going to do, because we thought it's Christmas, and what you do at Christmas, you write out lists. Do you see where I'm going here, guys? Lists.
No, this is subtle.
I've never written a list for Christmas in my life. I don't know what you could possibly be talking about.
So
this is absolute hookananny, and I will not stand for it.
I will not hook a nanny. Don't left hook nannies. That's not fair to them. They do a good job, especially around this time of year. But yeah, top 10 animes. We've each got a list of our top 10 animes of the 2010s. We're going to get that list. We're going to check it twice. We're going to find out which anime is naughty or nice. You better watch out. You better watch out. And then, yeah, I guess just...
You better watch out.
Just watch out.
You better watch out. You better watch out. You better watch out.
It's quite threatening when you think about it.
That was a bit of a key change.
He sees you when you're sleeping. He knows when you're awake. He knows if you've been bad or good, and he doesn't live under any legitimate government, so he can decide what the laws are.
He is gonna fuck
you know that song is legitimately a social commentary on the security state that we're currently all living in.
Yeah. Speaking of which, the FBI is monitoring our list, so for our own safety. It's a list about friendship and stuff and how good... Isn't America nice? How nice is America?
We are so nice. We're so nice. We're just so goddamn nice. Don't ask about the guns. We're just so goddamn nice.
Yeah.
I love Elvis
nice
and
people have
cheeseburgers.
guns.
There's only one.
We're so nice.
There's only one true Thanksgiving, and it's in November. That's my...
That is a cause that I will fight. So,
do you know what
before we get into politics, let's get into lists.
Yeah, let's get into something more controversial, and that's what we think are the better shows of the decade, because that's 10 years. I don't know about you guys. My research entailed or encompassed going onto my anime list and going through every single season from winter 2010, and it was a bit of a nostalgia trip.
My list encompassed going to my top 60 anime list and just seeing what was from the 2010s.
It's weird because the amount of things I thought that were from this decade, that are from last decade, and vice versa, is weird.
Yeah, that's true.
It's true. And what I really learned more than anything is that there's just a bunch of shit that came out in 2009 that was really good.
Yeah, they had a good year.
Yeah.
Do you know what? No, we had a good season. Because I was looking, and I was like, some of these seasons were fucking stacked. Others not so much, but some were pretty damn good.
And to be specific, on this list, we're not going to count sequel series, so that's why K-On! Season 2 does not appear on my list, for instance.
Oh, okay.
Well, because K-On! That's just more K-On!
That's true.
That's
true. It should be top 10 new anime, but new anime is kind of with a caveat. So obviously things like Dragon Ball Super would be eligible because it's like it's a continuation, but it's not a new season per se.
Yeah, because it's not Dragon Ball Z Part 2.
If it wasn't a single show that like started and then kept going, let's say a Naruto, for instance.
Yeah.
I don't. If Naruto started way back in the day, it went past 2010, but it was still just Naruto, or maybe it was Naruto Shippuden, whatever the fuck. But it wasn't like
would count, just in case anyone's got Boruto on their list.
Boruto would count.
Boruto would count, yes.
Please tell me that Boruto counts, because otherwise I'm going to have to scratch my top one entry out.
I'm going to have to update my list just to include Boruto.
Bit of Boruto, you know. Have you seen Boruto as well? Do you know what they've done? Like, I don't read the manga or watch the anime, but they have gone back in time to when Naruto and everyone was a kid. So, like, they've just basically gone, okay, we've ran out of ideas. Let's take Boruto and have him pair up with his dad when his dad was the same age as him, because everyone liked Naruto at that age. Let's do that, guys. There's an idea. Way to show. That's a good way to be confident in your new cast of characters, shall we say? Which are carbon copies of
the new cast of characters, which were functionally and physically identical to the old cast of characters. It's almost like he should have just made Naruto Part 2.
It isn't, in fairness, I will defend Kishimoto, it isn't Kishimoto at the helm of this project. It's somebody else.
That's true. That's totally true. I won't hate on Kishimoto for that. But I will say they should have just gotten the rights to Naruto 2.
Yeah. I mean, well, it is. It literally is. It's like, let's go back in time. That'll be fine. But whatever. Anyway, Boruto isn't going to feature on the list, so that's all that we're going to mention about that. Let's get the list going. So, Manimal, this was your idea. You should go first.
Okay, we'll start us off with number 10. It's number 10 for me. It's going to be Kill la Kill. You know, it was one of those shows that was just such a thrill ride. That was so fun. You know, it was slow to begin with, and it copied a lot of big things from Evangelion, so it wasn't so shocking, you know. But it was just one of those shows that you watch and you're just like, yeah, like it was cool. It had so much style going on to it, and it was just shit just going down, you know. And I probably would never watch it again or anything, but it was one of those experiences that you just remember. You had cool ass songs in it and everything. It's just one of those experience shows that you just got to have on the list.
It's one of them. Definitely in the highlight reels of 2010, people will have it as like it stood out. It's like an iconic show from the 2010s, like, definitely.
For sure.
Still never finished it, but
well, yeah, that's you, but that's my number 10.
Kill la Kill made, I think, what is it, 2013?
Yes.
That like defined that year in my imagination.
There's one other that I think of more, but it certainly rivals it, yeah.
There's one other from the same season I think of more, but we'll get to that at a later number. Yeah. So that's my Kill la Kill is number 10 for me.
Cool. Do you want me to go next or you, Coryn?
You can go next. I'll give it to you. We'll see that.
So, my number 10 was a tricky one, because it was a toss-up between what I eventually went with or Pop Team Epic. Because I was like, I really enjoyed Pop Team Epic, but I totally forgot about it until I went back on the list and went, oh yeah, I remember Pop Team Epic. That was really fun. So, great show. Everybody should watch it because it's, weird as fuck. But instead, I went with Panty and Stocking with Gothbelt in 2010.
See, that's one that I also debated about putting too.
Yeah. I was iffing and ahhing. Basically, my criteria for my list is because there's too many genres. There's too many, you can't. The only thing consistent was what my personal enjoyment level was for these shows. And
right.
That's all that matters.
That's true. A lot of this was my personal enjoyment, so I have some weird choices. I will also say there's a lot more shows I could easily have swapped my shows out for.
Yeah. I will admit there was a couple of times where I bumped the order and put some shows on because I was like, no, everyone knows that's a popular show. That's a critic's choice. And I was like, what an idiot. This is like my own list.
It's your own list.
I was like, this will make me appear a more cultured anime fan if I put this one on. Yuri on Ice.
Man.
Top
It's
5.
It's all about your list. You got to have the real shit.
You got to be real. Got to show that realness. But yeah, Panty and Stocking had loads of fun with it. The dub I thought was really good as well.
It's one that you got to watch in the dub because it makes the show make more sense. Like it feels like it needs to be watched in the dub.
I will make this argument because I watched Panty and Stocking in the sub, and I thought it made plenty of sense.
Yeah.
Well, not that it didn't make sense, but it just felt more fit.
But the thing is, the priest.
I think that's just because you watched it. It just because I thought it was perfect. I watched both, frankly, and I still think the sub was great. I love the sub. It's the way I would watch it again if I ever had the chance.
The dub was really good. The two, I think it was Monica Rial and God damn it, I can't remember who it is. Never mind. The two girls, the two female voice actors, did a really good job. And whoever did got a belt was brilliant. He sounds like a black guy, which is good. He isn't. He definitely isn't a black dude who does the voice. But, he was the funniest part by far. Just a really fun show. Dumb, stupid. Like, I've equated it similar to sort of like a South Park before, where it's just crude.
Yeah, it definitely isn't. It definitely isn't normal anime humor. And I think the Transformers episode is one of the greatest things of all time. It's one of the best things ever.
Honestly, when Gardabelt is forced to go back in time and relive all of human experience, it was a fucking religious experience.
It was a great show, yeah.
I really enjoyed Panty.
I love the ending theme, Fallen Angel, as well.
Okay, the music in that show was great.
Yeah, it was.
I still regularly bring up what are the characters' name? The theme song for Knee Socks and Scanty, I think.
Something like that.
The two
the
demon
red
chicks.
Demon girls, yeah.
They had
those spicy transformation sequences. Mm-hmm.
They were funny.
To make believe it's the first time, baby, I will say. Anyway.
But yeah, that is my number 10. Panty and Stocking was a great anime. Thought it'd come out last decade, but it was on 2010, so I squeezed it on the list.
Right on the list. My number 10 is kind of an evolution of Panty and Stocking. It's Little Witch Academia. Oh. Specifically, I'm going to reference the original animation for it, but, it did go on to have a second animation and a series. But I love Little Witch Academia. It's just cute and it's adorable and it's a little light and fluffy. And it was sort of a nice way to ease yourself off of having just watched a shit ton of Kill la Kill back at the time. Because that's Trigger did it kind of right after Kill la Kill, as I do recall. Or maybe around the same time. But I remember it being right afterwards.
Yeah, I was going to say, I don't think it was long afterwards. Kill la Kill was the fall of 2013, I think, or summer. And
it was fall, for sure.
And I want to say Little Witch Academia was like spring of 2014. It wasn't, like say,
it was right. Far. It was right afterwards.
Yeah, early 2014, I'd say off the top of my head. But yeah, Little Witch Academia. Never watched it, but I've always loved the animation and art style. It's like got a nice charm to it. It's one that I definitely want to sit down and watch because the series is on Netflix. UK Netflix steps up its game, yo.
Yep. It's a beautiful little show, and it's got gorgeous background artwork and these really cool fantasy designs of fat dragons and shit. It's just good. It's a fun little show.
Would you say it's better than Harry Potter or nah?
It's been a long time since I read Harry Potter. I will say I did watch the original Harry Potter movie back in October at a Halloween party, and Harry Potter's the dumbass, and Dumbledore is just a cheater cheat because he always makes Gryffindor win.
He's a crooked professor.
Literally, at the end of that movie, fucking Dumbledore is like, and here's a bunch of shit these kids did that I could have easily stopped from ever having to fucking happen. Here's the billion points, so Slytherin, who actually worked hard this year, doesn't win. It's not cool. It's bullshit. Anyway, Little Witch Academia, my number 10.
Yeah.
There you go.
Number 9.
Number 9 for me. You guys, you knew this was on my list. You knew that Love Live was going to make it somewhere.
Oh, I thought I was going to say something
It'd
else.
be on the list. I thought it'd be higher on the list, but there
So,
it is.
Love Live, I put it number 9 because upon rewatching the series, it made me realize that, Love Live, it's cheesy, it's dumb, but it's fun. And Love Live as a phenomenon is like such a big thing, and it's such a thing that's I'm just so into. Or, well, not so much anymore, but I did like Love Live Sunshine a lot as well. And, the original anime, like, again, it has a lot of dumb moments, a lot of melodrama and stuff like that. But it's just fun. The characters, I think, are great. I love them. And the songs are, well, they range from shit to iconic. Even if Snow Halation is just a meme now, it's still a great song. But
I cannot hear the word inhalate or inhale or inhalation without thinking of fucking snow halation. It drives me insane.
It's just such a thing. I love Love Live as such a phenomenon. I got my Diane Nesselberry and the posters in my room and shit. It's a big as like a event, as like a thing, entire entity. Love Live is like number 1 in that regard, but as an actual show, I'll put it at number 9.
Cool. Sorry, I just realized I was on mute because I was moving the mic stand. But yeah, Love Live. Hey, bet it major. Love life. Am I right? Am I right?
Very funny.
Yeah, just eat, pray, love, bitch.
My number 9 is Bacca and Test, another one from 2010.
Back in test. That was a good one.
Yeah, the funny thing is, because I was looking through and I was like, I remember when I watched that in 2012 or 2013, really enjoying both series. Like, it's not like a 10 out of 10 show, but I remember having a lot of fun and really enjoying the vibe and the theme of it all. Cannot remember anyone's name, any major quirks of any character. I just remember that the main guy was clueless, as always, as they have to be in these kind of situations. And you had the girl who was the tsundere, and then you had the nice one. And that was it. And they fought over him. But then he also had an overbearing sister who was weirdly attached to it. It basically had all the anime trope. Every anime trope was in there. But it was fun. He had his gay admirer, his gay stalker, who'd sometimes help him and sometimes hinder him. But it was one of the first sort of school, but like, not fantasy, but what's the word? Like, really wacky and unrealistic kind of school life things where there's a whole system set in place and all this dumb stuff that they pile up and just go, accept this so the story can happen.
Yeah, it's the famous, I think I'd used the term battle high school at one point to describe the genre.
Yeah, because,
where it's a high school, it's a normal high school, except for the fact where the high schoolers fight each other in weird and wacky ways.
Yeah. It was good fun. I enjoyed Bacca and Test. So that was my number 9. Not too much to say about it. I haven't watched it in a long, long time since then. But it was it certainly left an impression. And I remember enjoying it very fondly. So that's my number 9.
Banga, banga. All right. And then we have my number 9 is a number 9, which I'm guessing none of you saw coming or could even remember that it existed, but I'm going to call Daisarai.
I remember it.
As you may remember as the show about
Did it finish?
magical Nazis. It did finish. And it was not... I'm not going to say it was a good show.
So that's why you put it at number 9.
Not going to say it was a good show, but I will say it was a deeply interesting show.
Mm-hmm.
It was very strange. The whole thing felt like an out-of-body experience while watching it. It just put my brain in a weird position because the way the dialogue is written, the way the scenes jump around, kind of just make you disassociate from everything around you. And it sounds like I'm being brainwashed, but it was just a really enjoyable show about magic Nazis and kids fighting magic Nazis. And there's like lots of symbolism about like decapitation.
Let's just denote you got brainwashed by a show about magic Nazis. It's interesting.
Yeah.
Everyone, my name is Coryn. I've been red-pilled, and I will see you at the next Women's March. That's not a threat, I promise.
What's Coryn's eye color? Blue. What was his hair color? Blonde. Signing up now.
Yep. So it's a genuinely interesting show, and I'm not saying it's the tightest, but if you ever get the chance and you just kind of want to see something a little weird, and not in like the wacky weird way, give it a shot.
It gave.
Right.
I remember the show because it gave me one of my favourite bits on the history of the Happy Hour, and it was Nair doing an impression of a Nazi infiltrating a Japanese high school.
Yes, mine
and,
pencil
it was fantastic.
Yeah.
Mine bento box.
Mine pencil box.
I would like to meet me. Would you like to meet me on the roof?
Yeah, that was great. That was yeah, I remember that.
Absolute favourite moments, but
yeah. Okay, so. Oh yeah, I guess you went. Okay, my number 8 is gonna be Shiro Bako. So that's the anime where they make the anime.
Yeah.
And this show was extremely good at making this. Like, it shows you how they make shit. So it's one part showing you like how they do everything, like all the dubbing and the animation. So, and it actually in depth shows you shit. It has a cameo from the Evangelion director in it, you know, and like. Well, as in, like, the animated form.
Yeah.
But, and it just, like, the show just had such an interesting world. Like, they're in the studio doing all this shit. The story was super good. And it just the way that it showed everything, it gave me inspiration. I remember the scene where I don't remember her name, but the black-haired girl is trying to animate a horse, and then she consults, like, this old master animator and figures it out. Like, this show was just so in-depth when it came to everything. And then it had like kind of like, you know, a bit of a drama element to it and everything by the end. Like, it was just such a good show, and it was something that's just very memorable in just that unique quality. Like, it's not just like some cheeseball, oh, we're making anime, it's fun. It's more of like a this is how it's done. I mean, it's always in an over glamorized way, but not in the way that like a new game is, you know.
Yeah.
This show at least kind of shows you like a little more nitty gritty and like how shit goes. And it was just super good. I really like Shiro Bako, so it's number 8.
Fair enough.
Fun.
Yeah, I totally forgot about that one. That's that's cool. It's on the list of things that I'd love to check out, but
it's so worth it. It's such a good show. It's a genuinely good and interesting series.
Maybe one day. I mean, judging from the winter 2020, I might have a lot of time.
Yeah.
The lack of shows on that. Don't know yet because I haven't done the preview, but you know. Okay, so my number 8 then. Surprise! I mean, you knew you were going to see it on these lists. I've kind of put it on here. Now I want to put it a bit higher because I've been thinking about it. But fuck it, it's Attack on Titan. Released in 2013.
It's a good show.
If we were being honest, if we had to say, like, in terms of, like, cultural cultural is a weird term, but in terms of the media at large, probably one of the most recognizable.
Oh, no, it's number
shows.
1. Attack on Titan is easily the most popular anime of the decade.
Yeah.
It is. It is.
Yeah, that's probably fair. I mean, it also had, in other anime's defense, Attack on Titan had a long time to build because it came out early. It showed up early and it kept around. Because if say One Punch Man showed up at the same time as Attack on Titan, might be One Punch Man.
Yeah, possibly.
I think Attack on Titan had more broad appeal than One Punch Man, though.
I think it had a bit more well, yeah, because it was like a larger scale story. Whereas I think One Punch Man was a bit more episodic. So, like, Attack on Titan, I guess, was more traditional storytelling, and you were like, I'm invested. But yeah, when that hit the scene, it was a fucking powerhouse, Attack on Titan. There's no point really discussing it, because every fucker has seen Attack on Titan by now. You know what it's about. There's people flying around on...
There's people in sexy straps, and they're flying around. They're going to attack big monsters. Also, sometimes they're big monsters, and conspiracy and yada.
To this day,
The
to
Jews!
this day, you still see
What it boils
people.
down to.
You still
boils
see
down to
people. You still see people wearing the stupid emblem on sweaters and backpacks and shit like that. You know?
That's true. Do you know what's crazy is that came out in 2013. That's like over 6 years ago that the Attack on Titan came out, which is fucking weird to think of, season 1. And then you waited almost 6 years for season 2. But
Yeah, it did.
that came around. And then season 4, the final part's coming out next year, which is
You're gonna close up with a nice little bow.
yeah. Season 1 and 2, loved, thought they were really good. I'm trying to think which. I probably prefer season 2. No, actually, no. Season 1 was better. I really did like season 2. I think most people think season 1's by far the best, but I enjoyed season 2.
1 is very slow.
Yeah,
And I happen to like honestly, I think season 3 part 2 is the best Attack on Titan
it was
ever
good.
was.
yeah.
It was very good. That was like everything I wanted out of the show.
That's what I slogged through season 3 for, because I was like, not that the politics part was terrible, and the enemy is within the walls, and the government conspiracy, and all that kind of stuff. It wasn't bad, but it was just like, this isn't what playing to its strengths, and it's like the next part is, and it's like the blocking the third wall and all that kind of shit. That's the shit. That's what I come to Attack on Titan for, you know. So massive. Can't understate its impact. I imagine it's probably on your guys' lists as well, maybe.
Not mine.
Oh, okay.
It's actually, I had it on my list, but it was removed eventually in favor of other shows, which I had thought had more personal impact.
Fair enough. Because I was just going through the list and I was like, yeah, I did really enjoy Attack on Titan when I watched it.
There's a lot of shows this decade that I could have easily put on here, but a little spoiler, I definitely strayed for shows from earlier on in the decade because they had the most staying power. And while I still enjoy a lot of the shows that came out in the later half, there's a lot of stuff. The shows that I'm still thinking about from 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 years ago are really the ones that I was considering for the list.
Yeah. Fair enough. Well, speaking of your list, mate, what is your number 8?
Yes, and before I get to number 8, I want to have, because it's going to be a real short number 8, I'm going to make a post here, a note. In the fine tradition is, I just paid off another one of my student loans.
Hey, Merry Christmas miracle.
It's where all of my Christmas bonuses have gone for the last 4 years. Paying off my goddamn student loans. But after tomorrow, when it processes, it will be gone. And I will only have the one motherfucker left.
Most of mine has gone to a trip to Japan. I was like, I could spend this on anything, and it was like, it's good. 1,800 has gone on flights. Oh, this has gone on hotels, and I was like,
yeah. Well,
I mean,
the important thing is, after tomorrow, I will only owe about $2,400 to the government. Well, considering I started at 18,000, I feel pretty good about that.
That's not bad. Congratulations, then.
Yep. It's going to be nice to spend my own bonus money on something that's not student loans, except it'll probably pay my car off. But whatever. That's not important. What is important is my number 8, which is Panty and Stocking. We already talked about Panty and Stocking. It was cool. I liked it. It introduced me into like that sort of madcap nonsense humor that Studio Trigger and at the time Gainax eventually became just so good at and famous for. But still waiting for that season 2, guys. Still waiting for that.
Yeah. 10 years and counting. One day, maybe. Never.
One day. Honestly, I think the reason we probably never saw it is because it's tied up in the rights.
Yeah, I don't know. We probably won't, but we can pray one day. I'm still the guy who thinks that Haruhi season 3 is coming out.
Did it not?
No.
Were there not 3 seasons of Haruhi? There was so much Haruhi. There were so many offsets.
There was season 1 and 2, and there was a movie, which
There's
is
a Nagato series by a different studio.
Don't count.
What
That's
was
not
the Endless
books.
8? Was that Endless 8 season 2?
That was
Yeah, it was
season
in season 2.
which were the
Okay, I gotta-
first 4. So the book, so the 4th book is the movie. I think it's the first books 1, 2, 3, and 5. Maybe 5. I don't think they had season 2. I don't know, but anyway, there was a whole lot of material left over that they could use after the movie. So, and they didn't. But
maybe the
still
reason I
waiting.
thought it was 3 seasons already because the Endless 8 just took for fucking ever.
Yeah, I did. Oh, no.
It was a good payoff eventually, but ugh. All right. Anyway, that's my number 8. Panty and Stocking again. There might be
right.
some more repeats. We didn't consult.
See, I have a genuine feeling that there's not going to be any repeats from my list. There's a possibility there might be someone Simon's. I don't know.
I was going to say, there is possibly one that
There's
you and me may have.
So if
feel
I
like-
say it, don't say anything that's on your list. So I wanted to be a surprise.
Okay,
I'm
okay.
not shouting out things that have on other people's lists that are later on my list.
Yeah.
No,
So,
the farther we
okay.
get into this, I think the less of a problem that's probably going to be.
Yeah. So number 7 is gonna be Konosuba. What a fucking
yeah.
good show. Like Konosuba, literally had some of the greatest comedy ever in anime. It was such a good show. And I hate these shows where the guy gets put in a fantasy world. But Konosuba wasn't like that. It's not like a fucking ReZero or some shit like that. It's a legitimate comedy, you know? It's funny as fuck. It has these really great characters that are just a bunch of idiots. Like, they're all just dumb as fuck. Like Aqua and Megaman and Darkness. Like, they're just a bunch of idiots, you know? And I think Kazuma is a super great lead character just because he's such a friggin' bastard. And, it's just, there's so many just funny and classic scenes from these 2 seasons. And it's just so memorable. And it just has some humor that's just so, I don't know. It has its own brand of humor that's only in a show like this. Because, it's such a trend to have these guys get stuck in fantasy world shows, but that's not what Konosuba is. That's literally not what it is. It's not just one of those dumb things. It has a story and everything going, but I think it's the humor and the dumbness of the characters and everything that's the best part. I just think
Isekais are so overplayed now that they automatically get a bad rap, but they can be good in spite of them of the setup. It depends on what it is. Because I've got one on my list.
Yeah, but to me, Konosuba was a show that transcended that setup because I don't even think about that when I think of Konosuba.
Well, that's the thing. That is literally that's just the setup. Yeah, it just gets you there to that destination.
Kazuma.
That's the appeal of Konosuba, right? That it's not that. It's the other stuff you get.
Kazuma is just some loser who died when he went outside to get a video game, you know?
Yeah. Best death scene in anime?
Easily the best death scene in anime, for sure. But no, Konosuba is good, and we'll never forget Megaman and her explosions. So that's my number 7.
Actually, I've got to refute, because the best death scene in all of the decade was in Zombieland Saga, and the main character running out to go be an idol in the first, minute and a half, and there's all happy music, and she runs out with a piece of toast in the mouth, and then just gets fucking nailed by it.
That was classic.
I think to be fair, it's just fun to watch anime characters get comically run over by cars. I think that's what we're learning today.
I'm gonna live my dream. It was fantastic. I loved that bit. Best part of that show. Konosuba. I would have thought it'd be a little bit higher, to be honest. That's
so did
another
I.
one
But
that had way bigger popularity. That's terrible English, but it had much more longevity than I thought at first. But
because it's just so good.
Maybe it's because it's meme. It's mostly it survives through memes.
Especially with Aqua and explosion. I don't remember how she said it, but it was good.
Fair dues. So my number 7, I'm going to say this probably is not on a single person's list for best animes of the decade, but fuck y'all, it is Persona 4, the animation. It was. I am not right. If you have not watched it, I implore people to check it out because it is the animation of a video game, which normally won't be that great. But this one, something, whether it was by accident or by design, something just clicked where they got the humor really, like, they knocked it out of the park. Because I think Nair's summed it up previously, years and years ago when we were talking about it. And he was, you're probably all familiar with Persona games, but you tend to have, like, dialogue choices, as you would in any RPG game. And there's, like, a normal one, like a positive, negative. And then there's, most of the time, a really weird choice. Like, and it's a bizarre thing you would say in a conversation to make your person like a weirdo. And in the animation, they just made him the weird guy. Like, they gave him all the weird choices, and all weird things happen. And it's really good. It's really fun. It's nicely animated. It has all the music from the game, which is kick-ass, because I love the fucking music from the Persona games. They are awesome. But yeah, what really stood out to me was just the humor, and the pacing of the story is good. It's a really good way to check out and introduce yourself to the Persona series. It's just some good shit. Like when they all think they've got drunk and they're playing the King's game, and then he has his shirt unbuttoned, and all of a sudden he's a super cool, suave guy. And there's too many good moments in that show.
See, I remember watching that show up into the, like, camp out.
Yeah!
And they're just kind of giving up when the teacher's puking in the river constantly.
Yeah, because they want to go. They want to go swimming. Basically, the whole plot is that he wants to get the girls in bikinis, and he brought some with him. And then, he's puking upstream. There's some good shit. Did you get to the part with Kanji or Kenji? Oh, what's his name? Kanji.
Kanji? Isn't he
Kanji.
just called Kanji?
Yeah, I think his name's Kanji. Yeah.
I mean, he shows up.
He's fucking amazing. I
He
love
does
his chase.
this whole "I'm totally not gay" routine.
Yeah. Oh, it's fantastic. I love that guy. He's my favourite. But yeah, Persona 4, can't knock it. It was really fun.
Nope, nothing wrong with that. It's a good show. Didn't finish it, but I liked what I saw.
So, what is your number 7 then, Corey?
Number 7. It is, so this one might be a bit problematic.
Oh.
Not because it's a problematic show.
You have already gone with Magic Nazis.
But because it's not done yet.
Okay.
It's a late game. I tossed Fire Force on the list in my number 7. Because I fucking watched the latest episode today, and fucking Shinra has a fight with his fucking brother, and it's super all fast, and you can't see what's happening, and there are fucking footprints everywhere. The scientist dude's like, oh shit, dimensions, bro! And he's fucking going literally warp speed. Pew, 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 pew. And he fucking caught him, hit him back, fish slapped him with a sword. God, that show's cool. It's on the list.
The enthusiasm tells it all.
It's so good. It's not done yet. Hopefully they, finish with a fucking triple pirouette or whatever. Really nail it. Get a 10 out of 10 landing there.
Get a 10 like a Chinese gymnast.
There's always a way for it to go bad. I'll give it that. But it's just a solid fucking show.
It has been, it's been really, really good. I was debating 0.5 Force on, to be honest, because I was like, is it biased because it's so fresh in my memory? But I thought, no. Overall, I've really enjoyed it, and I would have enjoyed it, if I'd watched it 5 years ago or 4 years ago. It's not one that I'm going to forget soon.
No, it's just good. The animation's is top quality. The jokes are top quality. The characters are all really fun and kind of fleshed out in their own little ways. Mm-hmm. Arthur's a dumbass.
I can't decide if Obi or Arthur is my favourite character, but then I like whenever Maki's there as well, because she's just
the character on screen is always like my favorite character at the moment, really.
Yeah. Oh, I'm unplugged. Sorry, I unplugged my headphones. I was temporarily silent. But yeah, Fire Force is cool.
All right,
I should watch it.
I don't know about that, but number 6. Now, number 6 on my list. Okay. I love schoolgirls that do things that anime schoolgirls aren't supposed to do.
Hey,
And I love it.
don't we all, eh? Don't we all?
No, I don't mean that. I love shows that go against what is expected and shows that just do shit that's crazy. So number 6 is Sabajabu. I fucking love this show. I think it's actually my favorite anime comedy, at least tied with Cromartie High School, because this is a show that has Momika, the most ruthless lead ever. You know, she's willing to just shoot her friends right in the face.
Use them as a meat shield.
And yeah, like she's literally just like captured and made part of this group, and they're just fucking each other up. And there's that scene where Urawa, I think that was her name, she takes a shit and then she breaks the handle so she can't flush it. So she climbs out the window and they have to get a helicopter to rescue her. This is the shit that I love. Okay, this is the kind of shit I thrive on, because it's like, this is just so out of control with what's normal in anime with a schoolgirl type show. Like
I knew this would be on your list.
Yeah,
I knew this would be on your list, and I knew as soon as I knew that fact, you were going to mention when the girl escaped from the bathroom.
Okay, because
window.
That was the best episode of the show. She literally, like Urawa is supposed to be this cute girl. She has like the pigtails, but she's like a Hulk. She's violent, and she's like just crazy. And then there's that scene where she takes a shit and she flushes it so hard that she breaks the handle, and she can't be seen and be embarrassed because there's other girls in there. So she climbs, and she has these like Hulk hands like smashing against the building. Oh my fucking god, that was one of the greatest things I've ever seen. That was easily the best episode. And there's the episode where Momika gets all fat, and there's fried chicken lemon.
I was gonna say Mr. Fried Chicken Lemon as the best guy.
He's trying to get like panty shots of it. This show is fucking crazy. Like it literally, like, I love shows like this because it has such fat balls, you know. And it just has these crazy things. And then, yeah, you got, like, oh my god, this show was so... I gotta rewatch it because, like, I just fucking loved this show. I loved everything that it stood for and everything that it did.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, Sabajabu is so fucking good. I never forget it. I watched it in 2015. I've only watched it once, but it's so fresh in my memory because it was so good.
The premise was literally... The premise of this is she is a bit of an outcast, Momika, and she gets enrolled, kind of against her will, into a airsoft club.
Yeah.
But when they have gunfights, it's like...
Real. It's like real.
Yeah, in their brains, like how they animate it on screen is like what they're imagining, and it's like, so it's real guns, and it's like, you know, they die, and they've got bullet holes. It's just amazing.
And honestly, like, fake shit pretending to be real shit on screen is always one of my favorite, like, tropes. It's one of the reason that the Community, as we recall Community, the best anime of the 2010s, was so one of the reasons it was so beloved is because it had its paintball episodes, where it was just a paintball thing, but taken up to 11, and everyone pretended it was deadly serious.
Yeah, that's in a nutshell, yeah. This, because I knew it straight away. I was like, okay, I didn't know where it was going, and then like, the club president just pulls guns out on like a train pervert and stuff, and you're like, what the fuck? And then...
Oh, I love this show it was so good. I gotta rewatch it because it was just so fucking good. Holy shit! Again, it's my favorite anime comedy. It's this or Cromartie High School. It's one or the other.
Yeah, it's really good. I can't think of an episode I didn't really enjoy in this one.
Because they're all so different too.
Yeah,
you know. Oh, it was good. Okay, that's my number 6.
Fair enough. Okay, so my number 6 is Sabajabu.
Oh,
I literally had it as my number 6.
Also, see, this is the show that I knew was going to be on your list as well.
Yeah, I knew. I had it at number 7, and the more I looked at it, I was like, I prefer Sabajabu to Persona 4. I remember I think it was because it was one of them. It came out in summer 2014, and it's when I decided to watch an episode of every single anime that came out. So it was like 31 episodes or some shit. And it was near the end of that run when I was like, oh yeah, because I did the fucking first impressions. Oh my god, can you remember that? That was an effort. They were fun, but this was what made that worth it, because it was near the end of the run. I was getting bored. I was just, tired. And the first couple minutes, I was like, meh. And then as soon as by the time the first episode had finished, I was like, holy fuck, that was great, because I would have just overlooked it.
the show almost has like a bait and switch where it's just like I just want to be a normal girl, normal clubs and
Yeah.
shit like that, and then it quickly is just like boom, this is the show.
Yeah, I think there was the exact moment where I was like hooked was near the end when they had the first little gunfight because they're trying
Yeah.
to convince her to join, and I think it is Aurora or whatever the pink-haired girl who comes to her and is like hugging her, but then she just like turns that into using her as a shield.
Yeah, exactly.
And
you
just
see how
gets it killed.
you see how Momika's this ruthless character, you know.
Oh, it's great.
Man,
but
I
yeah.
love that. I gotta rewatch it. It's so good.
It I really enjoyed the show. So it came on number 6. I always thought I didn't know where to place it exactly, but yeah, brilliant show. I'd advise everyone to watch it because it was one that I would have. If you look at the poster, for example, on my anime list, you wouldn't get the impression of anything. It just looks like a run-of-the-mill, school kind of whatever, like
Yeah, that's exactly it.
normal school life show. But it is great comedy.
It is absolutely not.
So there you go. That's my number 6.
Alrighty. And my number 6 is not Shibujaku. Shabajabaju.
Sabat. I can never say it.
It's a hard one to say. My number 6 is Kill la Kill.
Ooh.
I
There-
fucking
there's the other
love Kill la Kill. It's what can you say about this show? The music was amazing. I love this show mostly
Yeah.
for the music, and that's all saying a lot. Music was just killer. I listened to
Nobody-
the soundtrack for years afterwards.
Nobody will ever forget Before My Body Is Dry. It's just that legendary.
So good. Before My Body's great. I love the second intro song a lot. It's great. The animation is
the
just so
Garnadelli
so,
one. Yeah.
so crazy, so crisp, so funny, and it's got that just wonderful trigger like bounciness, like you'd expect Tom and Jerry to like walk onto the screen and get hit the same way. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's just so good. It was Trigger's first outing as their own independent studio, and that spirit of fuck it, we got no money, we're gonna do this thing, and it's either we're gonna make it or we're gonna all have to go back to working for some whatever studio and not living up to our.
We're gonna
full
all have to go
potential.
back to JC's staff.
Yeah, exactly. So it was really, you could see their their spirit to make it in the industry, and it's just this thing of we're gonna fucking do this. All right, we have nothing, but we're gonna do it anyways, and it translates so well, and it's just funny and surprisingly heartfelt in some points, and just wacky. It's just so good. I love Kill la Kill. If you haven't seen it, go watch it. It's a lot of weird. It's a lot of half-naked high school girls. I don't recommend it for that reason, but
If that's what you're into, it's a it's a plus for you there.
it's anime. It comes with the territory a lot of the time.
That's true. That's true.
But it's different in Kill la Kill though. Like it's different than in a show like Maso Gakuen.
Right. It's not your fucking what's the Ikitosen bullshit where they just I'm suddenly naked. No, it's
it's an aesthetic in the series.
It really is an aesthetic because it's not just the hot girls that are naked. Everybody's fucking
the
naked
guys.
in this show.
The guys have shiny nipples.
It's literally one of the factions, like in this warring world. It's really a critique on fashion design, but one of the factions is are nudist. They're like a nudist group.
Nudist beach.
Nudist beach, and their thing is now I'm just another naked nudist.
Oh, I love that part.
There is a point at episode 16 or so, because it went for 24 episodes, where clothes have been abolished because all clothes in the world have started taking people's minds over because they're made with living fibers from outer space, because it all comes back to fucking aliens with Trigger.
That's right.
It always goes back to aliens, so you can have a big fight in space at the end of it.
Yeah.
But yeah, everyone's naked and everyone is just wearing utility belts, and that's their only amount of chastity. It's just, and it's not played for fan service so much as it
isn't
played for goofiness. And honestly, I've told people this before, and I don't know if they've always believed me, but by the time I was done watching Kill la Kill, just nudity as a concept had been completely changed in my mind.
Yeah, because that's what the point of the show is. Like, that's what the message or something it gets across, you know?
Right, like it. Obviously, I was, I was still pretty young at the time. As you're a teenager, you're a high schooler, and like, ooh, nudity. It's naked people. Ooh, yeah, I'm titillating. But by the time I was done with Kill la Kill, I was just like, yeah, fuck it, naked people. People are naked sometimes. It happens. Human.
Yeah,
It's the human body, man. Get over it.
that's really what Kill la Kill is to
Don't
say.
look the same. If anyone like walked around like into my room naked right now, I'd just be like, put on some clothes on. I wouldn't like get all wiggly wobbly. And maybe part of that's just becoming an adult. But Kill la Kill was definitely like a defining moment in me, like accepting like, oh yeah, humans, cool.
No, see that this makes me glad that I included Kill la Kill on the list because I almost didn't, but then I was like, no, it's fucking, you gotta have Kill la Kill.
Yeah, at the end of the day, it's just fucking rad.
That's the easiest way to put it.
It's fucking rad. That's Trigger's thing, dude. Fucking rad.
I mean, Kiz Niver wasn't that rad. It was a melodrama, but Kill la Kill, yeah.
Right. Okay, say, Trigger has, like, certain tones, and sometimes they try to do the melodrama, but when they're just going full balls to the wall Trigger, you get Kill la Kill.
Yeah.
You get, why can't I remember the name of the movie that came out?
Space Patrol Luluco was it was amazing. It was one of the best comedies. It was funny as fuck. I didn't put it on the list, but it's definitely an honorable mention.
Yeah, Space Patrol Luluco is also definitely on there. What is the movie that just came out from Trigger? I want to remember, because it was, again, very much in the same thing. Because if you remember from back in the day, Trigger used to be part of Gynax, or the people who formed Trigger were that group of Gynax that made all the good Gynax shows, right? Gurren Lagann, famously.
Boom. I don't know what you're talking about, but
All right, Lagann.
Well, no, the movie. Obviously, I know Gurren Lagann. It's my favorite anime, but the movie.
I'm trying to figure out. It's a movie that Promare, fucking Promare.
There we go.
Promare just came out, which is basically it's Trigger's first like full feature length movie. I saw it in theaters. It was amazing. But yeah, Kill la Kill, number 6.
So number 5 for me is a show that had great impact. It almost to date, there's still only one anime that's ever made me cry, and that's Clanad After Story. But there's another show that almost did it, and that
wait before you say it. I want to type. I'm going to say it and type into the chat, and then you can say it, and then I can say I called it.
You're going to be wrong. You're wrong. So, number 5 is Little Busters.
Damn it! Was it Little Busters? I didn't have the time to type it all the way in chat anyway, so it doesn't matter. But that's not what I was going to call. I'll up to that.
I think Little Busters had kind of like it had a bit of an impact on me. You know, I watched it at the beginning of grade 12. And it had themes like, your friends. It was a show about friendship. It's kind of hard to describe it because actually Little Busters was fucking crazy. Like the actual framing of the universe, like the actual plot twist and shit in the show is absolutely insane. Like all these key visual novel adaptations are. But, it's kind of like a show. It's just about the bros and gals, bros and hoes, whatever. It was just a good show. It had a lot of really emotional moments. The episode with was her name Yuiko, I think. Fuck, I don't remember. It was the pianist character, the black-haired character. And that episode, I don't know if that was in a refrain or the first series, but I'm kind of counting both of them as one. But Little Busters is a show that just had an impact. The episode, like the soundtrack is super good. And there's so many songs that I listen to off of it. I love the opening song so much. And, it's a show I think where the impact is better than the actual show itself. That's why it's so high. Cause like definitely like Sabajabu and Kill la Kill are like technically better shows, but Little Busters is one that got to the heart and soul, It's just one of those kind of series. I don't know if it'd still be good if I rewatched it. But for the time and everything, I gotta have it on here at number 5.
Fair enough. Little Busters. Yeah, I was guessing something completely different. So
see, okay. I never watched Little Busters. It's the only notable thing about it in my mind is that every time you say Little Busters, I think of the Little Hitler jingle from SNL. That was SNL, right? Whoever did the Little Hitler
That was
skits.
Robot Chicken.
Robot Chicken. Thank you. But yeah.
He's a hoot.
Little Hitler always having fun. But that's what I think of when I hear Little Busters. And it always takes a second to remember, oh wait, that's an anime.
It's a little... It's just a tiny bit different.
You can tell that
1000%
brainwashing.
less Hitler.
Yeah, that brainwashing's taking
That
effect,
brainwashing's really kicked in.
But
I'm in red pilled. Just you wait. I'm gonna buy a bunch of ugly ass white shirts.
whoa! Don't cross that
no.
divide.
No, it's those shirts. As soon as you buy a bunch of button-up white shirts, you've made the wrong choice. I know this. I apologize.
Just get better taste in shirts.
Speaking of better taste,
Get some color in there. All right, what's better taste? What's your number 5?
let me tell you, my number 5 is Old Man Laser Eyes. It's Inu Yoshiki.
Yeah.
It's Inu Yoshiki, Last Hero, from the guy who made Gantz. It is a 11-episode show that came out in 2017. Dead simple. It's CG. Kinda, some of it is. So it is fine for most of it, and then there's a few shots where you're a bit like, meh, but, you know, it overcomes it, because it's just really, really good. The premise is, he's an old man who's been diagnosed with cancer. He's done nothing of, notice in his life. His life's just a bit shit. It's not bad, it's a bit shit. His wife's whatever, kids don't really give a fuck about him, like, his boss doesn't care, he does like a shit job. He's got terminal cancer. Boom! Alien spaceship hits and crashes down. They think, fuck, we've killed 2 people, and we don't mean to. We need to put them back together. So him and a teenage boy are put back together with robot technology and makes them unstoppable cyborgs. This cures his cancer. He uses his powers for good and learns to become a little bit of a superhero. The boy, on the other hand, who is a normal schoolboy, he's not popular per se, but he's not really like bullied or anything. He becomes a total sociopath, and it does not shy away from his actions. And it's what really was interesting is because it spends a lot of time with the teenage boy, and you see like one of the moments, a good 10 minutes, like half an episode, is where he just decides because he can just kill people, and it's irrelevant, and he can't get caught for it because he can just fly off, and he could just kill any police or army or whatever. Like, it doesn't matter. He just walks into a house, a random house, goes in, murders the people in there one by one, including a small child in the bath. It's graphic. But like I say, they don't rush through that. It's like the tension's built up about it, and you feel the weight and impact of it, and like how he descends into this madness. And it's just a really heavy show. But then he tries to come back. And tries to pull himself back, but it's too late, and then they have a fight at the end. And it's just really good shit. The fighting's good, the action's good, the intro was good, the voice acting was really good. Old Man Laser Eyes was cool as fuck.
Yeah, like, I just like this show. I've never seen it. I just like it because you call it Old Man Laser Eyes.
He's Old Man Laser Eyes, isn't he? The voice actor did a brilliant job. I have no idea who it was. It was Japanese sub that I listened to. But he was just fantastic, like, of just being like an old... Because... You really felt it was just like an old man who's had a normal, like the most middle average life that you could imagine. Do you know what I mean? Like, I guess the kind of life that we all fear, where you're okay, but you're not doing anything particularly exceptional. No one's going to remember you when you're gone.
But I guess it has a sort of commentary on the fact that even like normal people, if you have given the moment and the circumstance, can be like heroes, you know.
Yeah.
It's a similar thing that One Punch Man says. It's like, look, man, anyone can be a hero. You just gotta do the right thing in the right moment.
Mm.
You know, you aren't always going to be presented with that situation, but when you are, do the right thing.
Yeah, because he learns to sort of intervene with things, because he doesn't just go, I'm invincible, therefore I'm going to do all this. Like, it's like a bit of a slow burn for him starting to help people, because he can do pretty much anything and everything, and like they can cure people's illnesses and shit like that. So But it was really good. Like I said, it was just really well handled. I did enjoy Gantz when Gantz came out, but I think I preferred this to Gantz, I think. Gantz went off the rails at the end, but, that's the same with most mangas, to be fair. When they wrap up in conclusion, they're always not the best, but certainly this one, because it's short and sweet, 11 episodes, fucking loved it. It was great.
Q. Are we ready for my number 5?
We are. The silence inferred that we are ready for chorus number 5.
So, my number 5 is a show we've talked about on the show before. And it is, I'm going to read it out, it is Shumatsu Nani Shimetsuka Ishigashi Desuka Sukusuke ta Mortata Li Desuka. Remember that one?
Where will you be at the end of the universe?
It is World End. What do you do at the end of the world? Are you busy? Will you save us? The best goddamn title from a show that had no right to be as good as it was. Fuck, I love this show. Got weird at the end, but you know what? The good goddamn show. The good goddamn title. For those of you who don't remember what World End, what will you do at the end of the world? Are you busy? Would you save us? Is about. It's about super far in the future. All of humanity has been wiped out. The world is now filled with like weird fantasy races that are all like monsters and shit and animals, mostly like animal races. But like they're all living on floating islands because the world below, Earth below, is like all fucked up and like covered in monsters. And there's one human being trying to fairies.
You okay there,
magic
Manimal?
What's happening?
I don't know. I can't hear you over him.
He's getting cereal. He's probably getting cereal.
He's
The point
getting
is, it's a good show, cool stuff, and it's kind of slow paced, but the characters are interesting, and it's just got a lovely pacing where it's very chill, and when the moments of like intense action build up, you really feel them, and it's sad because they really built it towards looking like there could be a second season. There just wasn't, though.
Yeah.
So, that's where we are. And it got weird because the main dude was falling in love with a 15-year-old girl, but yeah, them's the breaks.
It's
All right.
yeah, I remember that one being weird. But
So-
yeah, we're to number 4 now.
So my mic's still plugged in and everything's correct, right?
Yeah.
That's
Okay. So number 4, we're
Stop
getting
being plugged in.
we're getting spicy. Number 4 for me is Hibike Euphonium. Fuck, both seasons. It has to be both seasons. This show was so good. Holy shit, Kyoto Animation in season 2, that was like literally like, oh my god, the animation was absolutely insane in season 2. And the story, the characters are so fucking good. Kumiko and Reina, like honestly, like I could see myself in Kumiko in so many ways. She was such a relatable character. And even Reina as well. Like it was such a good, because it's the one where it's like a concert band show.
Mhm.
So Kumiko plays like euphonium and shit
Yeah.
like that, but it's more of a character drama, with like all these main characters, especially like Kumiko and Reina were just such great, compelling characters. And there's one of my favorite anime scenes of all time is when they're figuring out who's gonna play the solo in one part in the song. So there's the one girl who plays trumpet, and then there's anime Miles Davis, who's, again, Reina, and she just fucking annihilates this girl in front of everybody, and nobody has the guts to stand up and clap except for Kumiko, who goes against, like, the group mob mentality.
Mhm.
That scene is so powerful to me. That's honestly one of the absolute greatest anime scenes ever, I think. And there's just so many, like, observational moments like that in Hibike Euphonium, but there's just something about that scene, fuck, I talk about it all the time because it's just such a fucking good, oh my god. Like, again, Kumiko and Reina were just insanely good characters. It was just, Hibike Euphonium was just such a fucking good show. And you wouldn't expect it because, like, it's not good because it's like, the concert band thing, like, it's a thing that's there, and it's a thing that reflects in, like, Reina's attitude and stuff like that. But it's the characters, and Kyoto Animation's ridiculously good animation, especially in the second season. Holy
Yeah.
fuck. Of course, I'm nostalgic over the 2016 times when I would get oatmeal. I get my oatmeal and glass of orange juice before going to class, and I watch the new episode of Hibike Euphonium too. So I'm a little nostalgic over that. But the show was just super good. I fucking loved Hibike Euphonium. That's number 4.
I remember watching the first episode then in an exchange. The hair porn on that show.
Oh my god.
The hair porn, man. Then I'm speaking of specifically, dear viewers, well drawn hair, like really, like
Again,
too much time was put into the hair.
This is the best I've seen out of Kyoto Animation is Hibike Euphonium.
It's a real pretty show for about lesbians playing in a band.
But then in season 2, it's like they're not, but then they are. It's crazy. It's like, what's going on?
It's fun times.
Okay, give us number 4, Simon.
Number 4 is so Coryn marked out for a recent show, which was 5/4. For my number 4 is Dr. Stone. Which is
I knew it'd be on your
2019.
list somewhere. I knew it was coming.
It's remarkably high, a lot higher than I initially had it.
It's so good, though. It's so good.
Yeah, it could be biased because it's just so fresh in my mind and so fresh in my memory. But I really, really look forward to watching every single episode. Like each week, you're onto a winner when you go onto that when you're watching it weekly and you're actively waiting for it, and you're like, "Fuck, it's not out yet," and it's like that annoyance. Or the relief when you go, "Holy shit, it's Saturday! It came out yesterday. Sweet, I can sit down and watch it." Every single bit of it.
Yeah,
it's a breath
I love
of
that
fresh
show.
air.
I truly thought about putting it on my list, but I had to put Fire Force, and I couldn't
Fire
put
Force.
2 that had just come out and not yet finished.
Yeah,
But it's so good. I don't know if you've seen the most recent episode, Dr. Stone.
yes, I'm upset on Dr. Stone.
We finally got to see fucking Taiju and Yuzuria again. They're back, baby.
So the season's ended for Dr. Stone. Obviously, season 2 will be out in, I would guess, spring.
Oh yeah, because there was a big old
Or
season
summer.
2 confirmed.
Yeah,
We'll see. It depends if they're going for another 12 or 24 episode.
yeah, I'd imagine 6 months from now, I'd say. So, yeah, probably next summer that they come out. But yeah, it was just really good overall. The premise is that it's a shonen, but it's not like a typical battle shonen. Like everything's done through. It's like they want to invent. It's like they want to craft things. It's like Minecraft, you know. They want to craft like the obstacles that they face. Like there is obviously like an enemy that they're going to have to fight, but the main criteria of the show and the main bits is like Senku wants to make something. Here's all the steps that you need to do to make said thing, and then that entails them, like going mining in the caves, going exploring or foraging or creating so and so.
He's rebuilding the modern world using Stone Age materials. It's great.
Yeah. So it's not like, oh my god, we got to fight this guy, like and that's it. Like the main, like I said, the main things of the show is just them creating shit and showing it to these cavemen and women, pretty much.
More or less. But, but I think the way you really want to sum up the show, if you had to sum it up in one way, is that the shows always end with a disclaimer that making things by yourself and going out into the woods is fun, but make sure you always have adult supervision.
Yeah. Like, sometimes this is illegal to do what we do.
Yeah, because it's straight up going like, here's how you can get like a bunch of weird shit from the forest together and make
here's
a
gunpowder.
Here's make some gunpowder. It's like this is how human beings made these things, right? Yeah. All this was there's nothing that naturally occurs on Earth that we did not use to build everything in the world around you, right? Skyscrapers and iPhones and fucking pornography. High flat 4K definition streamed into your eyeballs all comes from just fucking shit you found in the forest. That's ultimately all it is.
Yeah. It's just such a good show. I strongly advise everyone to watch it. It's really, really good. The comedy's good. The second opening of it was fantastic.
Mm-hmm. All the characters are like fleshed out and unique. And that's good because there's a lot of them.
I really like Gen. Gen really grew on me.
What strikes me that I know it's a good show is that there's like half a dozen main characters, and I know all their names.
Mm-hmm. Well, we still struggled in the first few weeks with Yuzuria.
It's
and,
a hard
Tsukasa.
name to pronounce. Tsukasa's there. We got Tsukasa. Yuzuria's there. Taiju, Senku. I'm not going to keep going down the list. Chrome.
Kino and Ginro. Ginro's VIP.
Ginro. Magma. Kohaku.
Kohaku, yeah. And Yuri, her sister. But yeah, just really good. Definitely pick it up, guys. It's obviously on pretty much everything. It's on Crunchyroll and all that chisel. I am really tempted to start reading the manga to find out what happens, but I think I'll wait.
Yeah, if it's going to be...
distract myself.
The anime is going to come out shortly. I think it's worth waiting for.
Yeah, I think it will, personally, just because
it's
of
such a big hit, too.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's so good.
So, yeah, that's my number 4, Dr. Stone.
All right. My number 4, and I apologize to the neighbors and to your earbuds in advance. It's JoJo! Fucking JoJo Bizarre Adventures. It started, obviously it's an old manga. It had an old anime, but it's a brand new restart of the anime. Started back in mid-2015, 2014, somewhere in there. And it's been going strong ever since. The last season of it, most recent I should say, not last, as in final, because I don't think JoJo's actually ever going to end. It's just going to get stupider and stupider until it hits some sort of stupid singularity and the world ends. But it's a fun, stupid show. I just love JoJo. It's big, muscly dudes, and they're just like yearly using, just like talking. Mostly it's just big, muscly dudes talking. Honestly, it's pontificating. It happens. They have stupid, weird powers, and they take like 25 minutes explaining how their stupid, weird power works. It's that part of Dragon Ball Z where they stand around talking, but done in a way where it's just so goddamn fun.
I love me some buff dudes talking.
I can't explain it. It doesn't make sense, does it? Just buff dudes talking about weird powers? Like, that's the whole show. That's all it is. That's all it is. But it works. It just mostly because everyone's like overacting, and everyone's just so out there and wacky. Then they're just so fun. The character designs are so good just to look at on screen that you can't not enjoy it.
All
It's
right.
good. It's
JoJo. Okay.
Top 3, boys.
Number 3, this is the real gritty knit of grits. So, number 3 for me is a show that was tight as fuck, satisfying as fuck. Assassination Classroom.
Hey.
What a good show. This is because I watched it every episode by episode as it was coming out. What a satisfying series. Like, this is one show, it's like, 50 episodes when you count both seasons. Everything just came together in such a perfect way. And it was just a show, it was just so tight. It was animated and it looked really good. The ending almost made me cry,
Yeah, it's a sad as fuck.
It was the kind of show where it was like, it was funny, but then it was also, you could take it seriously, like when it actually got serious, because the tone was just so good in this series. Like, it wasn't too stupid, because you love that you love them, you love all the characters, There's just something so this show is just so good, and again, it's how tight the whole series is, and then there'll be these like fight scenes that were just insanely well animated. Like, oh my god, like where did that come from?
Yeah.
Like this, and I don't know, just the whole series. It was just just one of those shows. Like it's complete. Like, there's nothing more. Like, it's a complete series. And you don't get that very often, where you really feel like that's everything, Like, it was just but it was so substantial. It was so fun to watch every week. And it just had the perfect tone. I fucking loved it. That's my number 3.
That's a good one. That's a good one to have. It's a really strong show in the decade. My number 3 is from 2017 as well. I've got a few on 2017. And that was Yojo Senki, a.k.a. the Saga of Tanya the Evil, because it was fucking good as shit. You were talking about isekais, about some random dude dying. Well, my random dude got pushed in front of a train and reincarnated in World War One, but not World War One, in a little girl's body, and becomes lowly
wicked.
Hitler. It's
pretty
fucking
wicked.
mint. It's such a good show. It's a really good show. If anyone watched the first episode and wasn't massively into it, I would implore you to give it, because episode 1 is just sort of meh. Like, it's just sort of, oh, here you are, no backstory, no nothing. Episode 2 goes back and sort of explains things and introduces, the reason why. Because he was basically that much of a cunt of a businessman in life that God decides to punish him and puts him in this world and is like, you will know hardship in this place. You're a little girl, so you can't do fuck all. But because he's a smart man and he's got all these brains, he gets into positions of power. And his whole gambit is essentially to be promoted so high up the military chain that he doesn't have to fight and he'll just be on the back lines.
I'm not sure what the moral of this show is supposed to be.
Oh, he's an evil piece of shit.
Because remember, kids, if you're an evil piece of shit in life, God will make it so you can be an even eviler piece of shit.
Yeah, so God will throw obstacles and appear to them in visions sometimes and sort of say shit to Tanya, and torment her. But it's just such a good show. Really well voice acted. I love the animation styles and how they can go from cutesy with her sometimes to really creepy or really sort of intimidating. Episode 2 in particular, when I'm harping on the voice acting, but there's one where just screaming in rage, and it's just fantastic acting all around. Story was great. Watch it. Just watch it, people. It was good. There's a movie. I haven't seen the movie yet, so I couldn't say anything. Can't report on that one, but I'm sure it's on Crunchyroll, so maybe I'll check it out over the holidays. Christmas and all that. But just definitely go and check it, guys. It's grim. It's good. It's got good action. It's got some good shizzle. It's even got some good comedy in there as well. So that is my number 3, Saga of Tanya the Evil.
Alrighty. So my number 3 is a number 3, which I think may have popped up on someone else's list. It hasn't so far, but you never know. It's One Punch Man. One Punch Man made me feel seen for the first time in anime. As a bald, not as muscular as Saitama, but decently muscular man, I felt seen. And I just want to shoot out for One Punch Man for what it did for bald kind. Because as we all know by this point, Saitama is a bald man he's a bald man. He's a bald man, and he's a hero for fun. He doesn't want to do it as a job. He just wants to have fun being a hero, and he has crazy superpowers. As we all know, he did 100 sit-ups, 100 push-ups, and ran 10 kilometers every day, and that was it. And that's how you become a god, apparently. But yeah, it's just fun. It's over the top. It's crazy. Let season 2 not stand against it. That was a bad studio. I'm not blaming one on that, because one.
Yeah.
The creator, as we all know, did not know how to draw, but he did it anyways. God damn it! And
he
did his very best, and he became I'm not gonna say household name, but he certainly became one of the biggest names in anime.
Yeah,
right.
The hype around One Punch Man when the anime got released was insane. It's like you say, unfortunately, season 2 didn't quite deliver because season 1 fucking did.
Yeah.
What a perfect ending.
Season 2 just had... The animation was not good. I don't know how it ended up like that, but it did. But the point is, one was revealed as, one of the great authors of our time. And he's so good. He's gotten better at drawing as time goes on. It's good enough that his second anime, Mob Psycho 100, features his regular art style. As One Punch Man was translated from his original art style into something that is arguably more polished.
Yeah.
But it's a good show. It's full of laughs. It's just crazy. The music's good. The characters are fun. And, it's the first season especially just a Monster of the Week kind of deal. You don't have to follow a story or anything. It's just fun, and you just roll along the punches.
It's, I see what you did there. The punches.
I didn't mean to make that joke, but it happened anyways.
Yeah. But no, really, it was a sensational show. Season 1 of One Punch Man was just so goddamn good. They got everything right.
Mm-hmm.
It was good. Yeah. Mint, easily best show 2015 for me. That's up there, like, along with the Attack on Titans and Kill la Kill, for, like, the most recognizable, most iconic, biggest achievements of the 2010s for anime. So number 2's then. Manimal, if you're ready, you're on number 2. Okay, Manimal is not ready. So instead, we'll go on to my number 2.
Wait, are we waiting still? We're getting more information.
Okay, no, I'm here.
It's coming down the wire.
Number 2, and this is spicy. So for these number 2, both these shows are my top 10 anime of all time.
Oh, okay.
Without a doubt. This is a show.
Baby.
This is a show that had a profound impact on my life. This is a show that literally means something so deep and powerful to me, and that's A Place Further Than the Universe.
I knew that was going to be
Holy fuck, this is a good show. Okay, so it's about, the schoolgirl. She doesn't really know what she's doing for life and shit like that, but she, and then she meets this other girl who wants to go to Antarctica because, like, her mom was on a research trip there and she died there. So it's this show that already it's off to, like, this great start. It's like, what is this concept? Like, you first hear about it, you're like, schoolgirls going to Antarctica, that's crazy. And then you're inspired. If I didn't watch this show, I would have never gone to Kansas. And I would have never had that life-changing experience if I didn't watch this show. Because that's literally how powerful the series is. You watch it and you're like, what can I do to improve my life? It's a show about such deep and meaningful themes like that. It's a show that just fucking gets right in there, And as soon as you're watching it, you're like, this is different. This is something special. And you realize that from the first episode. Because it's a show that oh my god, it's just holy fuck. I love this show so much, okay? Like, I don't know the easiest way to describe it, because it means so much to me, and it's just such a profound series about schoolgirls going to Antarctica. When you hear that, you're like, how can this possibly be good? But then you watch it and you're just like, fuck, I gotta change shit in my life.
To be fair, most of the shows you like start out with, how could this possibly be good?
Yeah, that's true. That's actually true. But no, A Place Further in the Universe is a show that legitimately had an impact on me, and I gotta watch it again at some point because it's just crazily good. So that's number 2 for me.
Fair enough. I knew that was going to be up there. That and one other, which I suspect is your number 1. But
who would ever guess that my number 1 is?
Yes.
I think I may have a strong idea what your number 1 might be.
I don't know.
But before we hear your number 1, we should hear Vacant's number 2.
We should. My number 2 is One Punch Man. So we've kind of already talked about it, but yeah, I look back at the entire decade, and that was the show probably I can think of that I had the most hype for. So things like Saga of Tanya the Evil, Sabagaboo, Inuyashiki, even Dr. Stone, they were all things that I wasn't really I didn't have much foreknowledge going into them. Like, or they took me by surprise when I just picked them up, and they turned out to be really good. But One Punch Man, you knew what you were getting from the manga, and it delivered. It was just amazing. So, one I would certainly recommend if anyone was looking back at 2010. The 2010s, that's one of the best things to come out. That's my number 2. Coryn, what is your number 2?
My number 2 is a number 2 that, again, may be forgotten by the rest of the world. But my number 2 is Katanagatari, which is a interesting show in the fact that it's 12 episodes, which are 45 minutes long, which is a very strange thing for anime to be. It's a lot more like a Western show in its presentation, but it basically is, for those who don't recall, is a show about a swordsman who does not use a sword, and he has been asked or forced into helping a young noble girl to track down these 12 mythical swords that were forged by this mystical swordman. The swords don't always take the form of what you might expect a sword to look like, and it's this really just beautifully animated show. It has this amazing soundtrack. I watched it at a very sort of interesting time in my life where I was working very strange hours, so my mind was always in a weird place. But it's got this like babbling brook quality to it, or like a lazy river. You could just kind of sit in it and float along and just let it carry you, because you don't have to do any of the work. It just it brings you gently along from one position to the next, and every episode's more or less its own contained thing. There's a little bit of a through plot, but it doesn't really matter until the end, and you're just gently moving along, going on, and it's just a lovely show. Everything about it's great. And again, the interesting formatting of the anime, I don't know how to say it otherwise, and it's a great show. It's just wonderful. Beautiful animation, too. And famously has an entire episode that's crammed into the preview after the end of one show.
That's the best part.
Yeah, it's good. It's a good show.
All right. There you go. It looks like we're getting spicy now. We're at number 1.
We are.
Yeah,
These
it's
are
the big number one.
Our number
shows.
1.
I'm getting a little emotional.
Our number 1 favorite anime.
Can we in the chat guess at everyone's number 1 to see if we're right
Sure.
before it's said?
Fuck,
I've already put my guess for Manimals.
I don't know what your guys would be though. When I think about it, I actually can't think about what your guys.
You will. I think
I
you will
have my
realize
Manimal
what mine
guess
is.
in.
Okay. So
Oh my god!
before, hold up. I know what you're thinking. Before we go into number 1, I got to give some honorable mentions. Okay.
Go for it. Okay.
My
Okay.
number 1 most honorable mention is Kaijo. So you guys
Oh,
know.
made the list.
Okay, you guys know that I fucking love Kaijo. I love everything this show is about. I think it was. I've mentioned it so many times on the podcast, like ridiculous amounts of times, just because it was a show that had, the crazy idea of battling with boobs and butt, but then it was actually fucking good. It was legitimately good. It wasn't just like some, fan service shit. It was actually a good show, and I will defend it forever because it was great. It was so fun to watch, and it was just such a, oh my god, I love Kaijo because it's just, oh my, I just love shows like that. Because it was so dumb. There was like all this crazy shit like vacuum butts and like all these crazy moves like drill boobs and shit. Like it was absolutely insane. I love Kaijo, and I think that it's just like, how I said phenomenons for me. Number 1 phenomenon is Love Live, and number 2 phenomenon is Kaijo. And maybe it didn't make the list,
Does
but
it make the list? No.
it's in my heart. It's in my heart and soul, and I absolutely love this series and everything that it was about. My other honorable mentions are High School Fleet, which is another bait and switch series where it's like, oh, cute high school girls. But wait, now they're on a ship the entire series, and they're actually having these crazy naval battles that are super well animated, and that was a really good show. New Game, which I love the characters, I love the setting and animation, but it didn't quite make it because it was cute and fluffy, but it just didn't have that extra something to make it on here. After the Rain was a really nice show. I really liked its themes and the main character, and I thought it was fun. It's actually a show I watched this year, it's actually the only anime I've watched this year. Defrag is another one of my favorite comedies, and I still keep up with the manga a little bit. I love the show. I thought it had unique humor and characters and everything. I love Defrag. Of course, we all know the famous boob zipper scene where she's trying to zip it up and it shoots out at everyone.
You know it.
Come on,
well.
it's famous.
You might have it favorited potentially.
It's a great scene. And then Shimonetta was another fantastic series. It was crazy. Like, it Love Nectar and shit like that. The show was wild. but it was so much fun, and there's just all these themes, and same with like Setekai Yakwandamo, where it's just a kind of like really raunchy comedy, but it's the whole world is based around it in the show, so it works. And Shimane is a good commentary about social. I almost said socialism. What the fuck?
Oh, yeah.
I meant to say
Shimoneta.
nudity. I meant to say censorship, but I love Shimoneta. And also, Yuru Yuri was funny as fuck. Season 3 of Yuru Yuri sucked, but the first 2 seasons were so funny, like the science explosion episode, Explosion Friends or something. That show was good. Number 1, you guys know my number 1 is. There's no guessing. That you guys know my number 1 favorite anime of the 2010s is Big Order. The silence is you guys trying to remember what Big Order was.
I don't remember what the fuck Big Order was. I'm gonna say that.
You don't remember? Big Order was the series that was the Mirai Nikki guy. And it was such shit. It was an amazingly shitty show that I actually watched all of it. Fuck, I guess you guys don't remember Big Order. Okay.
I remember the name Big Order. I don't remember what the fuck Big Order was about.
Fair enough. My real number 1 is Handshakers.
You stole my joke, you motherfucker.
I was coming for you. No, my number 1 favorite anime of the 2010s is obviously White Album 2.
Yeah.
I fucking White Album 2 is a show. I've watched it twice, and it's made me severely sad for the next couple days after watching it. This is a show, I think it's the absolute greatest romance anime of all time because it's real shit. It's not just like, haha, funny. It's this love triangle that goes terribly wrong. It's so sad. It crushes your soul. But it's so... it has those themes that are... It's not just anime shit romance. Like, it's all this crazy shit. And it actually feels like, mature. It's not just like, ooh, are we gonna kiss? Like it's this show, like everything goes wrong and all the characters are their own worst enemies in this show. I think the 3 characters are just so good and they're so bad. They all do bad things to each other. They're not, like, nobody in this show is the victim. They all are just terrible. And the ending is just so brutal. Like, the way this show ends is just like, fuck. Like, the airport scene was just, ugh. And, oh my god, is White Album 2, you guys know I fucking love this show, and I will always put it in my top 3 anime because it just had such a profound impact on me. Like, when I watched it, I was so sad when I watched this last episode. This show just makes you feel like absolute shit. But it also, it has the music theme, so that's why I found the main character to be relatable as well. Not because he's a piece of shit, but because there were things where you're like, I could kind of see myself. And I love the kind of like romantic idea in the first episode where, he's playing guitar and then the piano appears from out the window when Toma's playing piano in the other room and they're playing together. That's so nice. And this show just that, and then combined with me listening to Bruce Springsteen at the same time, it fueled a lot of things in my head, White Album 2 is just one of those shows that just got into my brain and is such an integral part of integral piece of media. It's like it's one of those that ranks with all this other shit like Star Wars and Kiss and Bruce and White Album 2 and all this kind of shit. It's this very important piece of media to me. I fucking love White Album 2. It's easily number 1. There's no contest. Boom.
That's fair enough. Well, I guessed correctly. Just want to say.
Yeah, of course you
Put
did.
it out there.
It's kind of obvious.
Yeah. So my number 1 at the decade. I don't know if you want to have a little guessy guess.
I
Any
mean,
of you?
you didn't have Assassination Classroom on your list yet, but I don't recall how much you liked that show or not.
I liked it.
I'm gonna guess it's My Hero.
Oh fuck! I forgot that thing existed.
Yes, you guessed right. My Hero Academia is my number 1 on there because it has replaced Bleach and Naruto as the long-running shonen that I follow. Obviously, it's not on for hundreds of episodes and going through filler, so that's good in a way. But yeah, really good. Followed it since 2017. I didn't get on it when it first came out. I didn't like the look of it at all. I really didn't like the designs. And then I gave it a chance, and now I am in love with that show. It's just a really nice example of shonen. It's good quality. What he does, he typically... It's weird to explain it because a lot of shonen suffers from inconsistency where it'll hit the peaks, but it'll also have loads of lows. And there's not too many lows in My Hero. He just has a consistent level of good. He doesn't blow you out the water with what he's doing, and backstories and powers aren't all like, this crazy, unbelievable, inventive kind of thing. But it's just always like good. It always makes sense. He does the basics well, and that makes it just a really good platform to have some cool shonen action to do. This was the only other thing I was thinking with Attack on Titan as possibly leaving. I suppose overall, I think Attack on Titan is probably more popular, but I think My Hero is gonna certainly overtake it.
My Hero is real fucking it's real fucking popular. If it hasn't overtaken it yet, it will.
Yeah. Like, going into 2020 and 21 and all that, it's gonna definitely overtake it. It's just got a broader mainstream appeal, if that's possible, for Attack on Titan. But yeah, really enjoy it. I like a lot of it. I like the anime. It got me into reading the manga. I'm up to date on the manga, so I'm way ahead of the anime now. There's not much else to say that I haven't already said on the shows before. We may possibly do an episode of 12 Days of Christmas talking about it even more. So if we do, I'll save it for then. But yes, definitely my number one, because it's the thing that I've invested by far the most time in. But I will give an honourable mention, since we're doing that, to Pop Team Epic, which I mentioned at the top, and Golden Kamuy as well, because that was a good show.
That's good options.
But yeah, that was my number one. And then finally, we've just got to think of Coryn's number one.
You do, and I'll say, if either of you guess my number one, I will Venmo you $50.
I can't guess it.
Let me get its name. Is it?
You can type it. You can type it in. But I will. While you're doing that, I'll give some honorable mentions. Golden Kamuy brought up. Popping It Back was great. I will give an honorable mention to Durarara, which came out like really early in like winter 2010, I think, even like right at the beginning.
Yeah.
But it was good. I will also give an honorable mention to. And wait, what was it? What was the name of the show? I can see it in my mind, but I can't say. Chronos Rulers. I will give an honorable mention to Chronos Ruler for basically being an episode from a show from 2005, but made in 2015, or actually 2018, even later, 2017.
Yeah,
one of those two. Much later, it was show out of its depth. But any more guesses? Nope. All right, so. I will say, Vacant, your guess was wrong. I apologize.
Wow.
You will not be receiving $50. My number one show of the 2010s was Binbogami Ga.
What?
I wasn't going to guess that.
What the fuck's that? I've never heard of that.
Binbogami Ga, translated to Bad Luck Girl and Good Luck Girl, one of those two.
Oh, Good Luck Girl.
Good Luck Girl
okay.
is about the girl who has too much good luck. So much good luck that the gods have decided that they need to send a god of bad luck to take away her good luck. And it's nothing, the whole show is nothing but like madcap humor. It's a lot of like references to other shows and just crazy nonsense. And it's surprisingly heartfelt at certain moments. But I bring it up not because it was, let's say, better animated or better written than either show, but because it inspired me to read the entire manga when I knew there was never going to be a second season.
Yeah, like, see, this is one of those shows that I know you like, but I would have never guessed it because it's one of those series I'm like, what, that's from like 2009 or something, isn't it?
It's not. It's from 2011, I think. 2012, maybe.
Okay.
But, yeah, it really went out, and I went out and read this manga. It went on. This show could have gone on for, like, at least 50 episodes. It could have gone quite a way. It got 12. But it went full shonen by the end, believe it or not. But the whole show is just quality. I loved it. It was dedicated also not to having a lot of fan service, or much fan service at all. Famously, the author went out his way not to have any panty shots in obviously a field that is just replete with fanny shots. And it was just, it was a good show. It was very funny. It hit my sense of humor right. Just it got my sense of humor, especially at that time.
Yeah.
Also, it had a great intro. "Make My Day" by Pico.
Oh, "Make My Day" was a fucking good song.
It's a banger. I wake up
a good
some
track.
mornings with that song in my head sometimes. Still,
That was a tight song.
fuck it. I'm not kidding. Some morning I wake up, it's just "Takala one way, two way,
Do wait,
wait,
do
go
wait,
wait,
no
go
wait,
wait,
no
go
wait,
wait,
no
star,
wait,
you make my day." It's
Yeah.
so good. Fucking love that.
Since you mentioned that, I want to give a shout out to New Game for having the greatest panty shots of the 2010s. Because, like, every scene with Ko, like, they just, like, there was literally, like, a Michael Bay Transformers 1 Optimus Prime transformation rotating camera scene. And it was, like, the greatest panty shot ever.
Uh-huh.
Just a little memory there.
But famously, Bin Bagamiga had no panty shots. At the end of some of the manga chapters, when they'd have, like, every once in a while, they do, like, questions to the author or whatever. There would be, like, a segment on times that the fans thought that technically he had committed a panty shot. And he'd be like, actually, no, for these reasons. I think he had to admit it once
spats.
where the main character was, like, jumping off a building, but, like, it was basically a dot really high up was all she was. And he had to go, like, yeah, in those, like, 3 pixels of blackness, technically there could be a panty, so I can't...
Wait. Oh, yeah, but Vacant, you reminded me, what show is the Spats, the 10-episode show with chocolate
Newcom.
falling from the sky? Okay, yeah, okay. Just remember that the lolly teacher...
Yeah?
Yeah, okay, I just remember that show existed.
Yeah, you said remember a lolly teacher?
The only reason I remember that show is because of Spats.
Spats. I was playing about with putting that on my list, to be honest.
I
Newcom,
didn't. I remember that I didn't like some part. There's some reason I didn't like this show, but I don't remember what the reason was.
Yeah, because I was thinking about it, and then the more I thought about the show, I was like, oh no, there was a lot of bits that I found really funny, but
wait,
it's
hold
not...
up.
Go on.
I didn't put Snafu on my list.
Oh.
Because the second season of that was so fucking good. But actually, now that I look at my list, I can't really... Nah, that would just be an honorable mention. But I just remembered that... Yeah, fuck, I forgot about that show. Wait, if I forgot about it, then it wouldn't be on my list. And anyway, if it wasn't that memorable, apparently.
That's true, that's very true. But yeah, Newcom, I was thinking about it, but... Nah, in the end, I decided against it because,
Yeah. I know.
There were some good parts, but then there was bits that I was like, that's really funny.
Spats!
That was a good episode. I really liked that episode.
That's the most memorable part for me.
He had to get a panty shot, but there was basically like, it wasn't God, but like fate intervened for every single time. And then eventually it was just like the light, what they do for like sensor is like the light bar. It's like, oh, a beam of light has blocked the view.
Yeah, that's right.
Good shit.
That's right. Okay, looks like we got our list. That's pretty tight.
Yeah.
There is a lot of good shows on there, not gonna lie. What I'm gonna do over the holidays is crack open some mulled wine and watch Savegaboo.
Fuck it. We gotta both rewatch it and then talk about it because it's the one show on this list that I gotta rewatch because like I know it's great and I know I love this show, but it's like I gotta watch it again.
Yeah. Do you know what? I think we should. We should do one where we recover. We do a little rewatch.
I really just want to watch that toilet episode again because it was so crazy.
Yeah, that's the 2010s. So I'd say I think the 2000s to 2010 probably had a stronger lineup, but 2010 to 2019 very good. All the same, there's still plenty of decent shows that came out.
I mean,
here's to 2020.
Yeah, I mean, 2010. This is the year where we watched shows when they were coming out, and we did. At least I for a while, and me and Simon, we both did the first impressions for a little bit.
Yeah.
And I don't watch anime really anymore, and I'm not on it anymore, but there's still that 2015, 16, 17 where I was watching shit, and that's a block of anime that just had so many memorable series, a lot of which are on my list, that will just fuck. Hell
Stay
yeah.
with you forever. But yeah.
I'll never forget Kaijo.
Tell us your favorite animes of 2010, of the 2010s, down in the comments or tweeters, or I don't know, fucking shout it out into the abyss. You never know, we might hear you. You might just happen to live close by.
Just do something.
Just fucking get off your... Right, this show is coming to an end right now. Get off your ass, do something. That's all I'm asking you all. But tune in tomorrow where we may or may not have a Christmas story that Coryn wrote. Spoilers. But that's
Spoilers.
May or may not be that thing he said. Merry Christmas!
Merry Christmas! It's only 10 days till Christmas. Holy shit.